What's going on, guys? Play-by-play game here, back with another Epic 7 video, and today we're actually taking a look at the top units for you to pick from the Azera Foundation Day Celebration 5-star Covenant Hero Selector. That's a mouthful, but just keep in mind that you can't pick a limited unit. So like Cerise, you can't pick Bomb Model Kana because you can get her from connections. You can't get Yuna, and then they give you all that information there, right? So if it's limited collab units, you can't pick them, all right? Other than that, you're pretty much free to choose any unit from, I think, episode 1 and 2. But also note that before you make your selection, we are getting a random 5-star ticket soon, and we're getting 70 free Covenant summons. So I would highly recommend, before you decide on the unit that you want, wait a little bit if you can wait until those 70 summons, because you never know what 5-star unit you might get if you end up getting some 5-star units. And then that way you can pick one that you don't have, right? So that's my recommendation to you. But let's go ahead and get started with my top picks. So I'm gonna put it up on here. My top choices are at the very top, and I'll tell you a little bit about each and my reason behind that. So first off, we got Tamarinne. So Tamarinne, I would say if you are a brand new player, she is going to enable you in PvE content. You need to do PvE in order to be able to do PvP. And with Abyss 120 coming soon, if you haven't seen any Abyss video guide, Tamarinne is there. She's always in PvE content, expeditions, labyrinth, you name it. So if you don't have her, I would highly recommend that you get yourself a copy. I've pulled already like 5, so I'm not gonna get a Tamarinne, but she is very, very strong in PvE content, so I highly recommend. She's my top choice there. Number 2, we do have Krau. So Krau is great for both PvP and PvE content. If you don't already have a Knight hero, his S3 is very, very unique in that he can pretty much one-shot any unit in the game just because of the way that it works. He's kind of future-proof. He's been shown to still be a consistent pick throughout RTA seasons up until now. Guild Wars, he's amazing. He's just a very, very solid unit to have, provides a lot of mitigation, is an Arius holder. So I highly recommend that you pick him up. Not only is he a great unit, but he's also one of my favorite units. But moving on to the number 3rd pick is Politis. If you don't have Politis, I guarantee you faced a Politis. And she is very, very annoying. With her kit, anytime that you bring in some kind of unit that doesn't do that hits you with a non-attack skill or doesn't do an attack, she just pops off. She is very annoying. She is another unit that I think is going to stay relevant for the foreseeable future unless they create some kind of counter to Politis, right? But on defense, still insane. In Guild Wars, still insane. In regular PvP content, still really insane. And she's an answer to Cleat. So just kind of keep that in mind. Number 4 here is going to be Roana. So Roana, I think, hasn't necessarily fallen off completely. She is still a really strong unit, especially against Seaside Bologna or any unit that counters, right? She's supposed to be a counter to Rem, right? Because Rem hits you with the counters and all of that good stuff, but she hits you with unhealable, right? And then it usually lands on everybody, even on Roana, but she can still be a very effective unit when brought into the right situations because of her healing anytime that someone counters, which is really, really strong. If you have all of those units from the first rank there, from the top choices, some potential pickups are going to be Basar. Basar, even though he isn't used as much as he used to be everywhere. His Soulburn S3 is still one of the best in the game because it ignores effect resistance and has a 100% chance to strip. So, you know, barring 15%, you're gonna strip and push them back. So that's another big reason that I think if you already have those top units, Basar is going to be your number one choice there. Sigrid, if you started the game and you didn't pull your Sigrid, now is the time to pick her up. She's great in Wyvern. I highly recommend that you pick her up if you haven't already done so. Charlotte here, Fire Forehead. She is another one of my favorite units in the game. Not only is she 5-hit, but she does insane amounts of damage. And she's a little bit easier to build as far as DPS units go, just because she doesn't need crit chance. You can build her full damage, slightly tanky with as much attack as possible. Now people are building her on lifesteal, but I think you can get away with speed set until you start farming a lot more Banshee and stuff like that. But most of these units for early game are going to do some type of work. The units that are after, I would say, Charlotte are going to be maybe mid to a late end game, somewhere around there. So Violet, he is really good now with his buffs. I think he is pretty insane. However, he does need very, very good gear because he needs to be tanky. He needs to have good HP. He needs to have high attack, 85 crit, which isn't too bad, and as much crit damage as possible, and then everything else into speed. So that's a lot of stats to try to build as a new player. So I don't think he's going to be in the top for me just because of the gear that he requires. However, if you do have all of the other units, he's definitely a potential pickup. Lilius, I don't see her used very much. However, she is great in PvE content as well as PvP. But you never know what might happen with the meta. She might make a resurgence. Or that she might get buffs in the future, but she's another contender. Vivian here. Vivian I've been using personally recently a lot more now that I've been one-shotting hunts. So Vivian is great as a kind of like pseudo farmer, but you get free farmers now, free RB. So there's no reason that you need to pick her up unless you're going to focus on hunts and one-shotting hunts. So Vivian, if you don't have her, definitely a potential pickup. Blue Luluka, another one of those units that at first when she came out, I didn't enjoy her, but I've learned to really like her. So she's actually, another one of my favorite units in the game. Not only does she have a really cool design, but she's great in PvE. She's great in Labyrinth. She's great in expeditions, regular adventure. I mean, anyone's great in adventure, and you can use her in Abyss. So definitely a solid unit if you have everyone else that we mentioned. Iseria, okay, Iseria here, 2 years playing, 2 years, and I still haven't pulled a green Iseria. I don't particularly like her or her design. Hey, I'm sorry, I'm not an Iseria fan, okay? I'm more of a Luluka fan, all right? But Iseria is still a really good unit to have. Just keep in mind, you don't need Iseria. All of these units you don't need, all right? In the end, play however you want to play. Choose whatever you want to choose. But Iseria has been used a lot in PvE content. And then putting together Tamarinne and Iseria, it was like a really crazy comp for cleaving back in the day. People still use that team comp. But Iseria's skill, her S3, S2, is very, very unique in that she can reset another unit's cooldown. And I think only one other unit has that I can think of right now, and that's Acades. And she reduces by 1 turn, as Iseria reduces it completely. So that's why you can make Tamarinne work. So more than likely, I'll be picking up Iseria just because I have every other unit here in the top choices. But another potential pickup if you're starting off. However, I highly recommend sticking with those top choices. And then we have a third tier here, cuz Waifu. So you got everybody, you don't care about what meta is, you're just playing for collection and waifus or husbandos. I was gonna put Mort in there, but I don't want you to pull for Mort, okay? Until he gets tests, okay? He's getting buffs, but we can definitely include, I guess, Mort in there if you want in the cuz waifu. But Flan is great. I pulled her and then she never got any use. However, I did start using her now in certain cleaves. So there are certain areas where I can cleave, because I'm not a cleave player, okay? I'm a bruiser player, turn 2 player. But I do bring her into slight cleave. So the way that I set it up is I go Bazaar, strip, and then Flan goes immediately after to defense break everybody. And then I push up my my strays and then nuke everybody out. If you've seen my videos before, you know that's a cleave that I like to run because it's very easy. Flan is very low investment when it comes to her molas. So you can use her just straight out the box. Mui, okay, I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack from this, but I'm not a Mui fan either, all right? I'm more of a Flan personality type guy. Mui, she's cool, but I don't like control. I'm not a control unit player or a fan of control. However, Flan seems to be pretty good. I still haven't pulled a Flan, so that's another unit that I don't have. I don't see too much out of Flan. That's why I put her in the waifu, because she does require speed. Speed gear, a lot of speed. Flan also requires speed gear and effectiveness. Sermia on the waifu list. I think she could also go in the potential pickups. Some of the other units in the potential could be also waifus, right? Or waifus or husbandos. But I think that Sermia does have a place in PvE. She's great in like Hall of Trials and other, I think people have brought her into Abyss as well. But very, very specific type of unit. I don't think that she's going to change your account if you have her. I never pulled her in 2 years. Finally pulled her like a couple of months ago, like 2 or 3 months ago. She's just sitting on the bench for me because she is a high investment unit. So you need a lot of molas to put into her. And the units in the top choices, if you do plus 15, it's going to be the most bang for your buck. Tamarinne for sure. All you need is max her S2 and S3, and then you're good to go. Krau, S2 and S3, and then you're good to go. Politis, if you want to use just bare out the box, you can just go S3 and then maybe some molas in the S1 just because of the stun chance. Roana, if you can go straight into the S2 and that's it, just skill up the S2, you should be good. Ideally, you're farming for friendship on all these people, all these units, but you know, it is what it is. Bazaar, he doesn't even need any molas. You can use him straight without any molas. Now, Sigrid, depending on how your team comp is, you might need to use some molas. Charlotte for sure is going to be plus 15, as well as Violet. I think everyone else here, you know, you might need to plus 15. I think Blue Luca, you can get away with maybe just the molas on the S3. Vivian will need the damage, so for sure S2, S3. And then everyone else there, I think, you know, should be pretty good. But that's going to be it for me. Let me know what you think. Who are your top choices? Who are you picking? Cuz waifu or husbando? Let me know in the comment section below. Like always, if you haven't enjoyed the video, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hey, think about subscribing. It really helps the channel grow and reach more people like you who like content like this. Like always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.